If your business stopped functioning the moment you took 2 weeks off, I've got some bad news. You don't own a business, you own a job. Now, before you switch this off and tell me I'm being all dramatic, hear me out, because this is something that I see all the time. Business owners who are making decent money, they've got clients, they've got inquiries, they've got a team, and from the outside, everything looks great. But behind the scenes, they're exhausted because every question comes to them, every decision comes to them, every problem lands on their desk, and the thought of taking a proper break makes them break out in a cold sweat. So if that sounds familiar, this episode is for you. So hello and welcome back to Streamline and Shine, the podcast for business owners who want more freedom, more structure, and a business that doesn't rely on them being available 24/7. I'm Steff from Bolton Virtual Solutions, and today I'm going to be diving into something that I think a lot of business owners need to hear, because the goal was never to become the busiest person in your business. The goal was freedom, and somewhere along the way, many of us lose sight of that. So let me talk to you about the trap that most business owners fall into. When you first start your business, doing everything yourself, it just makes sense. So you're the sales team, the marketing department, customer service, finance, admin, operations, team maker, chief problem solver. So you're wearing all these hats because basically you have to. The problem is though, is that many business owners never actually take those hats off, even when they reach the point where they could take them off. Even when the business is growing, even when they have support, they just stay in survival mode. They stay as the person everything depends on. And after a while, they stop being the owner of the business and they become another employee who works the hardest. And the difference is they don't get annual leave, they don't get sick pay, and they certainly don't get to switch off at 5 p.m. So these are the signs that you've basically built yourself a job. Let's see if any of these sound familiar. So your team asks you questions all day long. You check your phone constantly. You struggle to take a day off. You answer messages when you're supposed to be spending time with your family. You tell yourself you'll work less next month. You've been saying that for 6 months. You feel guilty when you're not working, and you feel stressed when you are. Clients only want to deal with you. Nothing gets approved unless you approve it. You know exactly what's happening in every single area of the business because everything passes through you first. And honestly, the business would struggle if you disappeared for a week. Not because you're amazing, but because you've accidentally made yourself the centre of everything. And this is like the real cost. So people often think that the problem here is time. It's not time. The real cost is your mental load. It's carrying every decision, every responsibility, every deadline, every problem. It's laying in bed, mentally running through your to-do list. It's remembering things for other people. It's constantly feeling like you're juggling so many balls and you're dropping them all. And so often when I speak to business owners, the things keeping them awake at night tend to fall into 4 categories. So one of the biggest one is the admin that's constantly piling up. Another one is the marketing they know they should be doing but never quite get round to. The social media that's inconsistent because client work always comes first, as it should. And the tech systems, automations that feel way more complicated than they should. So if they sound familiar, it's because those are usually the things creating the most pressure behind the scenes. Not because they're difficult, but because they're constantly competing for your attention every single day. So this is why this happens in so many businesses. For many business owners, especially women, this comes from a really good place. You're capable, you care, you're reliable, you want things done properly. You want your clients to have an amazing experience, which I'm sure they do. You want your team to feel supported. So instead of asking for support, you just keep adding things to your own plate. So you become the administrator, you become the marketer, the social media manager, the tech support department, the client delivery team. I'm exhausted just reading these out. Like, it's ridiculous. So eventually you're spinning so many plates that you're exhausted before the day's even started. And the irony is that most business owners don't need to work harder. They need to stop doing so many different jobs at once. The businesses that scale aren't necessarily run by smarter people. They're usually run by people who understand that they don't have to do everything themselves. They understand what only they can do, and what somebody else could take ownership of. Maybe that's the admin that's filling every spare moment. Maybe it's the marketing that's been sitting on your to-do list for months. Maybe it's social media that's constantly being pushed aside. Maybe it's the systems, tech, automations that are eating up too many hours every week. Because every single task that you continue holding on to has a cost. And that's not just a financial cost. It's mentally, emotionally, energetically. So every hour spent battling technology is an hour you're not serving clients. Every evening spent catching up on admin is time you're not spending with your family. Every week spent saying, I'll get around to the marketing next week, is another week that your business isn't being seen. Every month spent posting inconsistently on social media is another month wondering why inquiries get quieter and quieter. So the goal isn't to become better at juggling. The goal is to stop juggling so many things in the first place. So I've got a quick challenge for you. You all know I love giving you a bit of homework, but this is like going to open your eyes. So a question I want you to ask yourself today: if you disappeared for 2 weeks, what would break? Not what would pause and not what would slow down. What would genuinely break? Would your team know what to do? Would clients still be looked after? Would projects continue moving? Would any inquiries be handled? Would invoices still go out? So your answer will tell you exactly where the gaps are. And it will also tell you where your next focus needs to be. Because if the answer is admin, marketing, social media, systems, that's probably where your bottleneck is sitting right now. So if today's episode felt a little bit uncomfortable, good. You all know I'm here to make you feel uncomfortable and open your eyes to these sorts of things. Because awareness is always the first step. You didn't start your business to become the administrator or the marketer, the social media manager, tech support department. You started your business because you're bloody good at what you do. Somewhere along the way, you've probably taken on responsibilities that were never meant to stay with you forever. So this week, I want you to take a look at where you've become the bottleneck. Look at what's consuming your time. Look at what's draining your energy. Look at what's keeping you stuck in the day-to-day running of the business. And just ask yourself, what would happen if somebody else took ownership of that? Because the goal was never, remember, to become the busiest person in your business. The goal was freedom. And if you've realised that admin, marketing, social media or tech are the things weighing you down, that is exactly why we've created our Headspace, Momentum, Visible and Seamless support packages here at Bolton Virtual Solutions. Not to help you do more, but to help you carry less. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If it's hit a nerve, I'd love to hear from you. See how you resonated with it. And you never know, if you slide into our DMs, might be able to give you a little quick tip on how to fix it. So drop us a message, share the episode, your stories. See you next time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Streamline and Shine. If you have questions on what we covered inside, please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Bolton_virtual_solutions, or you can email us at teambolton@boltonvirtualsolutions.co.uk. We absolutely love hearing from our amazing community and are always here to support you. If you'd like to be interviewed on a future episode, please drop us an email letting us know which topic you'd like to speak about and we'll get back to you. See you on the next episode, lovelies.